Roby Coleman knew that he got away with one there. CC, did the referees cost the Saints a chance at the Super Bowl?
Well, I mean, it's fairly obvious it's a pass interference. It's hard to put it on the referees. There's a number of plays during the game, but when you have a call like that, that's going to give them basically first and goal, they're going to be able to run out the clock. Yeah, very seldom are you able to boil it down to one play, but this one, you can say that. And Sean Payton, I couldn't imagine just how tough that call was to the league office. Not a league office that he's fond of. So for them to be able to have to call and to be able to say, man, we made a mistake, the ref made a mistake, man, that's a tough call to be able to receive that on the other end. Great football game. I hate to see that it comes down to a call like this, but you can't avoid it. You have to be able to get that call right late in the game. The defender's running right at the wide receiver. The wide receiver can't make a play on the ball. Why? Because there's contact. Now, people will say, well, what about the helmet to helmet? Well, they stopped calling that a long time ago. Now, they're coming into the season. That was a point of emphasis, but they haven't been calling that the last 2 months. So I didn't think that they would call that. They didn't call several in yesterday's games, but the pass interference on that, when the wide receiver cannot make a play on the football, you have to be able to call it.
Of course, that should have been pass interference. But in sports or in life, all you can do is control your controllables. And you can't control if the refs are going to miss a call. What you can control, if you're the New Orleans Saints and if you're Sean Payton, is after that Ted Ginn catch, there's 1:58 left. The Rams have 2 timeouts. You're at the 15-yard line. You can run the ball 3 times. And your worst case scenario is you're kicking a field goal with less than a minute left, a chip shot. You might run for the first down and be in the exact position they want to be in there. They threw the ball inexplicably on first down, which set this entire course of events into motion. I understand that Sean Payton is upset, and he should be upset, but he also should know you were in a spot where you were 95% to win this football game if you take knees. Now, no one's advocating you take knees there. Just run the ball. It's not like you can get a first down without scoring a touchdown, and even if you get stuffed 3 consecutive times, the Rams go timeout, timeout, and then they're out of timeouts, and on the third run, it's 40 seconds, tick, tick, tick. And then it's Jared Goff with no timeouts, less than a minute left. Go try it. And so this
was going for the win. We're not going to go for a field goal where they can tie it up.
But a field goal is going for the win as well. Like you've got to understand at that moment you are playing the clock, not the Rams. And you've got to, since they only have 2 timeouts, not 3, run the ball 3 times.
Now, I don't have a problem with the play they run to Michael Thomas. They got a pick play. It's something everyone in the league runs. Drew Brees, completing 75% of his passes, he should be able to complete that pass. So the strategy, it's not a bad strategy if Drew Brees just does what he normally does and just throws the ball up in the eyes of Michael Thomas. Like, he's not rushed or anything. That's not Sean Payton's fault. So it's a good, only reason why it's a bad call is because Drew Brees doesn't do what he's going to do, 99 out of 100 times?
But the reason that I disagree is because you're right. Drew Brees, that is an easy pass and an easy completion. But you bring into play that 1 out of 100.
Yeah, but it's a matter of strategy. They got 9 guys in the box.
But I'm not trying to gain yards at that point. That's why I'm saying I'm playing the clock, not the Rams.
But it's still the best way to be able to stall out the clock. You can get hit in the backfield and guy fumble. If they shoot the gap, all right, and hit the running back in the backfield, he can fumble.
Sure.
That is a probability.
Absolutely. I would say the odds of an incompletion are way higher than the odds of a fumble. But listen, the Saints have the game won if they get the pass interference call. I understand that. But I think everyone, all my friends in New Orleans, people watching this game, when Ted Ginn caught that ball, they thought, oh, we've won the game. Not thinking they needed a first down on 3rd and long. Like, oh, we've won the game. The Rams' best case scenario is getting the ball back inside a minute with no timeouts left. And the Saints.
Why would you put that offense back on? The only way you can win the game is if you put it in the end zone.
Well, hold on, see, but running the ball does not necessarily mean you won't get the first down. They could run it.
I mean, if you go with probability, if I go with the Nick Wright factor,
sure,
the probability of getting the first down running against 9 in the box, not very good.
I want to run it on first down and see what I get. That's what I'm saying. On third down, at that point, I don't kill him for it. I want to run it on first down and see what I get. I understand Sean Payton being upset, but you can't control that. Guys miss calls. I mean, you know that. We all know
We don't expect that. You don't go into the game saying a guy's going to miss a call. Wide receiver running wide open, defender out of position. He runs right into him blatantly. No one is thinking that on the field. No one is thinking that. It's the best players. It's the number 1 seed. It's the number 2 seed. We got the best players playing. We got the best referees. No one is thinking a guy should miss a call. Like you might say Sean Payton, oh, he might make a different call, but that referee is in that position to make that football call. Sean Payton, there's a lot of good calls. If Drew Brees stands up like he normally does, throws the ball right to Michael Thomas, the best hands in the NFL.
It's a 4-yard completion. They got to use their timeout, and no one thinks anything else about it. I understand. If you were on the Rams sideline, you were praying at some point they pass the football because things can happen. And we saw 2 bad things happen. On the first down, Drew Brees makes
If you're on the Rams sideline, you're praying that they play conservative and play for the field goal. That's what you're praying.
Not if they have 3 timeouts, I'd agree with you. But with 2 and you know they're going to be able to bring it within 1 minute, I think they were thrilled they threw the football.
All right.
The Rams were on a mission all season, and they're very, very talented. I think that what made it so impressive was they didn't have Todd Gurley. They needed Jared Goff to be a force multiplier. And he was. He made the throws he needed to make. He was under duress late in the game. Off his back foot, he's able to get the ball out to the flat to pick up a big gain, get them just enough yardage to be able to kick that field goal. So I think how they did it was very impressed. We know the noise, it wasn't getting any quieter.
No.
So later in the game, the ability to be able to function where, man, they could have been blown out in this game early with that slow start, huge turnover early, being able to recover from that. With Jared Goff, with the questions being on him, I thought Sean McVay and them did a great job of protecting him, come up with a great game plan, and he delivered enough throws for them to be able to get the win.
I'm glad you focus on Jared Goff because I want to talk about the other people surrounding him. The reason it wasn't a blowout early is the Rams defense showed up early and throughout the game. But that first drive for the Saints, drive down the field, hold them to a field goal. Then the quick change after the Gurley, where it went through his hands, intercepted, they hold him to a 3-and-out. 8 yards, they're kicking another field goal. And then the Rams special teams, they did to the Saints the exact thing the Saints did to the Eagles. The Saints in a similar spot, down 14-0 against Philadelphia, they went for a fake punt, and they got it. They're down 13-0. They go for a fake punt, and even gutsier one because it's more than 1 yard to gain and involves your punter, who was a quarterback once upon a time, throwing the football. And credit to the coaching staff for believing that Greg Zuerlein can hit a 57-yard field goal. That is a big play that if they miss it, we are here this morning saying, should they have punted? You know what I mean? Was that smart to give Drew Brees the ball at midfield? They trusted Greg the Leg Zuerlein to be able to hit that kick. He had a nails 48-yarder to put it to overtime, and then a 57-yarder to win it.
And I think his long was only 61, so it was really close to that. But on Thursday or Friday last week, Eric Mangini made an interesting point about this Rams defense. He said sometimes towards the end of the season, when you know you're going to make the playoffs, everything sort of gets routine, you get a little bored, and maybe the defense isn't as focused or engaged as they maybe should be, but he thought they would bring it in the game like this. Did you think they were playing as engaged, or, I mean, the kind of defense we assume they would be when this defense was all put together earlier in the year?
What Coach Mangini talked about is veteran players, the mundane of the regular season, and them having a gear or two that they can go to. Because there's no way a player is coasting. But when you have players like Ndamukong Suh, when you have players like Talib, when you have players like that came over, Peters, that came over from other teams, and they're there for this year. They're hired guns to try to win this year. It's easy to be, because they're talented. That's why they got an extra gear to go to, and most of them have been in some type of playoff format, some type of sudden death experience. So this is what I expected from the Rams. I thought they were good. They came into this game healthier, and that health proved out throughout that overtime.
And in a copycat league, I hope teams take what the Rams did this offseason and look at acquiring super talented players that might have some questions or some reason they're available and saying, you know what, if our infrastructure and culture is good enough, we're going to get the most out of them. I'll tell you this much. The team that didn't have Marcus Peters last night, the Kansas City Chiefs, wish they did. And the team that did have him is glad they traded for him. And Ndamukong Suh, for the second straight playoff game, was extraordinary. Aqib Talib did an excellent job. We talked about what C.J. Anderson was able to do. They went for it this year, and now they're one game away from having it all pay off.
And credit to Wade Phillips for making sure all those personalities were focused just on football this season. All right. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.